Nice and easy. Nice and easy. I have a bunch of solar panels and a solar power bank and converter and some pressure treated lumber, and I'm going to attempt to utilize these solar panels and power bank to make an off-grid greenhouse. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the goldfish greenhouse is going to be solar powered, so hopefully it doesn't raise my electric bill like my goldfish basement did. So what I'm going to attempt to do is rig up some sort of mounting system with the pressure treated lumber onto the top of the goldfish greenhouse and basically have the panels be right up there. And from there, I will power the bank, and that will power everything that goes on in the greenhouse. Okay, so the plan is to get these pressure treated pieces of lumber and basically cut them into a box formation that the panel can basically fit right on. It's going to basically go on the inside lip of the panel and kind of be held nice and snug there. And then I'm literally just going to secure it by drilling some self-tapping screws through it and hold it to the wood, which is being held to the roof of the greenhouse. And hopefully that way I can secure these panels up there and get some solar generation. Okay, that fits in pretty easy, and so does that. Okay, so then we'll just get these two pieces of lumber here, and we'll push it to the edge. And yeah, we're literally using this as like a template, because it's going to be fitted right onto this. It's going to be screwed in from the sides. That should make our box. Okay, now that I secured both sides, do we think it's a little more stable? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, basically what I'm doing is I'm going to pre-drill halfway through the wood some holes so I can get some other screws, these self-tapping screws, and have them go all the way through the wood and into the metal of the greenhouse. So I'm basically just going to go like 3/4 of an inch, maybe a little more, into the wood, and then it'll be secured at 4 different points on the greenhouse metal. So honestly, I'm just going to drill it right here. Okay, the moment of truth. Now I'm going to take this thing and try to secure it up on the roof. And if I can do that pretty well, then I literally should just be able to flip the panel right over onto it, and the panel should be suspended into place. I just got to carry this nice and easy onto the greenhouse roof. This is no time for falling. Da, na, 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 na. Okay. Now I have a solar panel, and I'm going to bring the solar panel up onto the greenhouse. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. All right, a little wobbly there. Just a little wobbly. All right, but we're bringing it on. Nice and easy. All right. Okay. So, come on. That dumb cable's stuck. Okay. we got it on. I think. Yes. Yeah, baby. We got solar. Oh. Sweet. Oh. Ah, good. And as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen, I have installed one solar panel on the top of my greenhouse. Now I still have to just put in maybe a couple screws on the side to secure it. So now that I know that it works and this method will do it, I'm just going to go cut all the lumber, form all the boxes, go in there and install all of them, and just kind of doing a little assembly line. So let's get to cutting wood. I got to make 10 pieces that are 36 1/8, and then 10 pieces that are 4 feet. And then I just got to lay them all out, connect them all up, get them all on the roof, get the panels all on the roof, and we'll be done. I probably will not finish today because it's 5 o'clock, but we'll do as much as we can. Of these 36-inch pieces. Now I gotta cut 10 4-foot pieces, and we'll have all the lumber we need. Okay, it's day 2 of installing solar on my greenhouse, and I actually posted a short video yesterday explaining that I'm going to do this, and I got a lot of negative feedback. Honestly, a lot of it was very brain-dead feedback. Like, I gotta be honest, like, there was not much thought put into the criticism. There was some genuine criticism that I definitely took into account, but some people were saying, but Luke, if you put 6 solar panels on your greenhouse, it's not a greenhouse anymore. You're blocking out the sun. Isn't that the whole point of a greenhouse? Well, let me put it this way. If I had a tree over here and the tree cast a small shadow on part of the greenhouse, would the whole greenhouse become obsolete? Because 6 panels here are around 110 square feet of coverage on a 1,000 square foot greenhouse. But that's not all. 110 square foot of coverage on just the roof. There's also a ton of other open areas on the walls, on the front cap, on the other wall. There's basically 2,000 square feet of surface area that's exposed to sun on this greenhouse. And I'm only covering up 110 of those square feet with some solar panels. And everyone thinks, oh my gosh, now you're not going to get enough sun. None of the plants are going to grow. I don't know. But anyway, the legitimate criticism was people saying that, can this thing support that kind of weight? Those look kind of big. And that's obviously a very valid thing to say. However, this is actually a galvanized steel frame greenhouse. This thing is very serious. And those solar panels are not as heavy as they look. I can easily carry them in one hand, as you saw me do, and take it all the way up the greenhouse. And the 2x4 frames that are holding it in place, a single 2x4 weighs like 8 pounds, and I'm using 1.6, 1.7 2x4s in each of these. So honestly, in total for all 6 of them, we're probably looking at a couple 100 pounds, maybe. Which for a galvanized steel frame greenhouse is nothing. This thing could take a lot more than that. It's rated to take a lot of snow during the winters. But anyway, enough of ranting. The goal for today is to get the remaining, basically mounting pieces of wood up onto the greenhouse, and then fit the panels over those as well, and then screw them all on to secure them. And basically I'm going to have one panel on each of these 6 roof panels, and that hopefully should be enough energy generation to run the pumps and the air pumps and the water pumps that I'm going to have in the greenhouse. Anyway, now what we're going to do is we're going to actually pre-drill basically halfway through the wood some holes, so then I can then get the self-tapping screws to go all the way through the wood and then into the actual steel frame of the greenhouse. This is how I'm basically going to attach these to the main frame. I'm not just attaching them to the polycarbonate. This is going straight into the actual galvanized steel frame, which supports the entire greenhouse. Again. This is kind of my least favorite part. Well, would you look at that? 6 solar panels all set in place on the goldfish greenhouse. Now, how much sunlight is it blocking from our greenhouse? Oh no! Look! There's no sunlight that hits the greenhouse anymore. Guys, we're barely having any blockage. Basically, those little shadows there is the entire blockage of what these panels are doing. The entire rest of the greenhouse is still getting full sun. We're getting it through the walls, we're getting it through there, we're getting it through that entire side. So we're still gonna have plenty of sunlight that comes here, but we are just gonna have these 6 shadows that kind of move their way along the greenhouse throughout the day. Okay, all of our solar panels are successfully mounted up there on the greenhouse, but how are we gonna connect them? So this is actually very important. There is a rating on the back of your solar panel that tells you the maximum, the voltage they produce, and also the maximum amperage they produce when they're in full sun. And then there's also some guidelines on your battery that will say the max amount of watts they can take and the max amount of volts they can take. And basically, you have to do a little bit of mathematics to figure out how you can safely wire your panels together. And my little math told me that if I do all 6 of these panels in 2 groups of series circuits, basically having 3 in series and then parallel that into another 3 panels in series, I will not reach over the maximum voltage that is safe for the battery, and I will not go over the maximum amperage, which is safe for the battery. So if I did all of these in parallel, the voltage would be very low, but I'd have a lot of amps, which the battery cannot handle. And if I did all of these in series, I would have a safe amount of amperage, but I would have a very high voltage level in full sun, which again, the battery cannot handle. So when you do things in parallel, you keep the voltage the same, but the amps go up, and when you do things in series, you keep the amperage the same, but the volts go up. So you have to kind of split it down to make sure that it's going to be a safe amount for what your actual panel can hold in itself and can do, and what also your battery is capable of taking in. So I found through doing some quick little calculations, if I do 2 series groups of 3 panels that are put in parallel together, I think I will have just under 17 amps. I'll have like 16 amps at full sun, which is the upper limit of what you should have for this battery. And also I'm gonna have, I think, around like 100 volts, which again is well below the safe limit for the battery. So now I just gotta connect them. I actually don't think I have enough connectors on here, so we'll see what I can do with what I have. So these 3 panels here are gonna be connected in series. So I'm taking the positive of one terminal and I'm plugging it into the negative of the other terminal. So I just plug these in together, and boom, these ones right here are now connected in series, these 2. Now I'm going to connect the 3rd panel in series. Boy. So then I get the positive terminal of one, the negative terminal of the other. Boy. Okay. Now these 3 panels are connected in series almost. I have to connect the ends, but before I do that, I'm going to connect the other group of 3 in series as well. So these are the parallel connectors. We have 2 positive terminals that need to be connected together, and we have 2 negative terminals that need to be joined together. This is what's going to basically make them into a parallel circuit, and then both of these can then go back to the battery. Turns out I do have enough wire to complete this today, because I didn't realize you could snip these cables and then just add on another connection point. Right now, basically, everything is connected except for the positive and the negative terminal. So we have a set of 3 in series on the left and a set of 3 in series on the right, and we have them joint at one place. The loose ends of the terminal are joint in one place to make it a parallel connection for the 2 groups. And now I just have to take those 2 ends and bring them together to the power station, and we should have a complete circuit. Okay, I have our cables made. Now we get to connect them. All right. Moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we're taking our positive and we're plugging it in. It's connected in, and then we get our negative and we connect that in, and now we should be able to plug this in the battery and get our charge. All right, no way guys, I just plugged it in and we're getting 100 watts, which honestly I'm very surprised about. We're getting 100 watts of input right now, and it's like the sun is already down. The sun is already down. It's way down over there. We just have a little remnant light. But right now, still at like 6 p.m., we're still pulling 100 watts. We're pulling 100 watts, 102 watts at 6 p.m. Honestly, and I'm only planning to run like 200 watts total. So that looks pretty good to me. Now I know what you're thinking, Luke, you have 6 300 watt panels and you're all excited about 100 watts. Well, I don't know if you can see, but the sun is like basically down. The sun is basically set. There's no actual sunlight shining on them. Really, it's just the remnant, ambient light in the sky after the sun's already kind of, gone down. It's dusk right now. And if we're still pulling 100 watts now, when it's midday and the sun's shining on them, we're gonna get, 1,000+ watts, even more than that. And it's gonna charge up that battery very quickly. And that battery's a 3,000 watt-hour battery. So it'll easily be able to charge potentially for over a day or so. It'll be able to run the greenhouse for a day. I'm hoping to run it on just basically 100, 150 watts. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on how this thing actually plays out. I do have to create a little house for the battery, because I cannot let the battery stay out here in the elements. But also I cannot keep it inside the greenhouse because it's going to get too hot for it in the summertime. Now I am going to keep it in there in the wintertime, but during the summertime I cannot keep that battery in there. Yeah, those 3 panels are in series, those 3 panels are in series, and I bought some solar panels, I bought some parallel connectors, I bought some cables, extension cables to connect it, and then I was given this battery actually by Anker for a sponsored video, but they haven't told me to make the video yet, but I will eventually. But yeah, now I really cannot believe I'm pulling 100 watts right now. Like 100 watts is a good amount of energy. You can run several water pumps off of 100 watts. Now imagine midday when that thing is actually getting sunlight, it's gonna be 1,000, it's gonna be 1,500. And this thing's gonna charge right back up. But yeah, this is awesome. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go to lukesgoldies.com and get yourself some Oreo merch. I'm selling these shirts for $10 a piece. All right, they're on clearance. I want to get rid of my remaining Oreo shirts. $10 a piece. We also got Mr. Cow plushies, Little Dumpy plushies, and Jill plushies, and of course, some live goldfish available. But yeah, anything you guys buy helps support the Goldfish Greenhouse project. If you want to see this thing get up and running, the more you watch my videos, the more you support me, the faster I'm able to do that, because really my biggest constraint here is money.